I'm going to show you how to get your Ascension form in Path of Exile too, and get Ascension points, as well as give some tips on doing the Ascension trial. And the first thing that you need to do is make it to Act 2, and in Act 2 you'll naturally get to this Traitor's Passage by progressing through the main story. If you progress the story far enough, you'll get this Ascent to Power which says Search Traitor's Passage. I don't think you necessarily need to get this prompt, but once you get to Traitor's Passage, you're going to be searching through Traitor's Passage for a certain boss door. In my case, I had to pass this stairway called the Six Sisters, and the boss door was in the area after the checkpoint beyond the stairway. What you're looking for in here is this checkpoint that's in front of a door called Ancient Seal. Here's where mine was on the map. So go in this Ancient Seal door, and you'll have to interact with these runic seals. This is going to free a boss that you'll need to kill. So take out this boss in here. And when you take out this boss, you'll get this Balbala's barya. Pick that up. Then head back to the caravan, so make a portal to town. Once in town, go and speak to Zarka. Then you have to go to the desert map, and you're going to use this map to travel to a new place. So go to the desert map, and up here on the map, this is where you want to go. It's next to Trial of the Sekhemas. So exit the caravan here, and just walk through this next area, and you'll come across this. It'll say speak to Balbala, so speak to her. She'll give you a relic. These relics are buffs that last with you through the whole trial. Then once you speak to her, you can interact with this relic altar, and you're going to want to use this Balbala's barya. You can see here it says completing this trial will allow you to choose your Ascendancy class. So put this in the relic altar, and for this one in particular, you get infinite tries on this. So if you fail this, you just need to talk to Balbala again, and she will give you this item back. Once you've done this, you'll get this menu. You won't have this many slots. You'll probably only have like 6 spaces available, but in these spaces, you'll be able to use these relics. And the relics do a variety of buffs. So the way this trial is going to work is you'll have an honor meter down here, and when you take damage throughout the whole trial, you're going to lose honor. If your honor gets to 0, you instantly lose the whole trial, and you'll have to redo it. And you'll find these relics by doing this trial. And I would say by far the most important relics that you can have are anything with honor resistance, and then behind that, maximum honor. And honor resistance works like other resistances. I'm not sure if there's a way you can check your current resistance, but I believe the max is 75%, so going above 75%. So unless you have relics that are plus to maximum honor resistance, don't go above 75% honor resistance. And some of these relics can give you like 40+%. I don't have particularly good ones, but they are possible to find. Beyond that, you can have stuff like monsters and bosses take increased damage. I'll just help you get through the trials faster. And again, if you fail this one, don't worry about it. You can redo it as many times as you want. It can take a pretty long time. Aside from honor in these trials, you will get sacred water, and you'll get sacred water from killing monsters, doing trials that award a fountain. And sacred water can be used to buy boons or relics from merchants if you happen to run into any. And a very small amount of sacred water is also used to interact with shrines that do various things throughout the trials. If you're just doing the first trial, I would not recommend focusing too much on getting sacred water. Most of the time you'll naturally have enough to interact with every shrine that you come across, and sometimes you won't even run into a single merchant if you're just doing the first Ascendancy trial. It's more important in the second, third, and fourth Ascendancies because there is a merchant after the final boss of each trial. Otherwise you'll only run into merchants through RNG throughout the map, so don't worry too much about getting sacred water. But once you have the relics you want in, confirm, and you'll start the trial and go into the trial. There are a few different types of trials. One type's an escape trial, and you'll click these crystals, and then you'll see a light orb go out. You have to follow where the light went to, and that's going to guide you around to different crystals. There will be monsters that pop up. Just try not to get hit so you don't lose honor. For the most part, movement speed is king, and doing this easily, as well as having a lot of damage. For the escape trial, the last one that you click of the crystals is going to end the trial. You can still get hurt once the trial ends and lose honor, so don't get careless. Watch for enemies following you into these doors too. After you complete a room, there will be a reward in each of the rooms. And you'll also notice after you complete your first room, you'll get this trial map. If you interact with this, it will show you different directions that you can choose. And the rooms that you can choose will have various useful information. Like this one is a ritual trial. It also tells you the reward that you get. So every room after the first one, you'll be able to actually see which reward you're going to get. If the room has a purple circle around it, is going to give you an affliction. There are afflictions and boons. Afflictions do bad things for you. Boons do good things for you. And these afflictions and boons last the entire trial. So this affliction in particular says that you get another affliction every time you venerate a Mariketh shrine. I believe any shrine you interact with that takes sacred water is considered a Mariketh shrine, by the way. These afflictions can vary. They can also do things like hide your rewards on the map, make you able to see one less room ahead, or not be able to see what type of room it is. If you want to see what an affliction does, just hold Alt while you're hovering over one of these map rooms. And then you can go up to the underlined words, and it will say like, this afflicts you with untouchable, means you're cursed with enfeeble, so you'll do 15% less damage for the rest of the trial. There are a lot of boons and afflictions. I won't go over all of them because I believe it's more important for you just to know how to check what they do. And any boons or afflictions you have are going to show up in this top left corner here. And you can hold Alt while you're hovering over this, and you'll be able to see whatever each of these does. Then when it comes to the awards that you see on the map, it'll tell you what they are. Sacred water fountains give you sacred water. Large sacred water fountains give you more sacred water. There are shrines that restore honor. There's a pledge. And if you do a pledge, you basically will have options when you do the pledge where you can choose something like gain a minor boon and gain an affliction, things like that. So that's what a pledge will do if you run into that. There are also some double-edged rewards like restore honor but gain an affliction. Then the final types of rewards are you can get keys. There are bronze through gold keys. You can get chests that you use these keys to open. I wouldn't worry about getting the chests because generally you're not going to find enough keys throughout the trial to even open up all the chests that are going to be at the end of the trial. After you beat the last boss, you'll be able to use all your keys. And finally, there can be a merchant. And the merchant's where you're going to use the majority of your sacred water. The merchant will sell either boons, honor restoration, or relics. Keep in mind, if you buy a relic from the merchant, it is not active during that trial. You'll have to activate it for the next trial you do, the same way I showed you how to use the relics at the beginning. Let's move on to trial types. I'll do a ritual trial first. So once you choose which room you want to go to, it will open up stairs on either side of this. You just have to go in. With a ritual trial, what you're going to have is these skeleton guys that stand next to portals. So when you find one of these ritual trials, all you need to do is kill all of these skeletons that are next to the portals. That completes the trial. Now we'll do an hourglass trial. When you go into an hourglass trial, you'll find a room and it's going to have a lever like this next to an hourglass. When you interact with this lever, it's going to start a timer at the top. All you have to do is survive for the duration of this timer and try to take as little damage as you possibly can. There will be rares that spawn throughout these. Too. If you take out all of the rares, then it will instantly end it sometimes. And the reason I say sometimes is I believe it bugs at times. So most of the time if you kill the rares, it instantly ends. But I have had times where I'll kill the rares and for some reason it doesn't instantly end. If the timer runs out, then all the mobs instantly die regardless though. You don't get the loot for mobs that you have only partially killed though. Now I'll do a gauntlet trial. And a gauntlet trial is basically an obstacle course. What you need to do is navigate around the trial, and you're searching for levers throughout here. Just watch out for the traps. They do damage as well as honor damage. It's usually either the spike traps or these flame traps where you're supposed to wait for the flames and then go around with the flames. These doors are what the levers open, by the way. So we're searching for levers like this. Usually there will be a pretty obvious door that opens from it. Most of the time they'll open doors in multiple places. So just go around searching for the levers and pull whatever levers you find. It might sound dumb to say just pull whatever lever you come across and you'll eventually make your way through. But there aren't any actual puzzles in the gauntlet trials until you get to the 4th Ascension. Up until then, it's basically just pull levers and progress through the map, and you eventually pull the one that opens the final door. Basically all the time with these gauntlet trials, the place that you need to go is going to be up at the top of the map. So like the northeastern part is generally where you want to head towards, and you just need to find the door at the end of these gauntlet trials. And the final type of trial is a chalice trial. And in a chalice trial, you'll have this blood chalice, and you have to defeat the rare monsters in the area to fill the chalice. If you click on the chalice, it'll shoot out these blood droplets, similar to the lights that come out of the crystals in the escape trial, and those go towards where the rare monsters are that you have to kill. So once you kill all the rare monsters, if you go back to where the chalice is, it'll be overflowing like this, and you can go into the next room. Then once you get to the end of these, you will get to the boss room, and all you have to do here is fight the boss. First one's always going to be this Rattlecage the Earthbreaker. Start off by staying far enough away to avoid his AoE. And generally you just want to avoid any of these cracks that he makes in the ground. Try to kill him quickly, because he will keep spawning these volcanoes and doing more and more mechanics as he goes. Once you've taken out him, you'll be able to go into this next room. And at this altar of Ascendancy, this is where you're going to actually be able to ascend. So click on this, and you'll be able to choose your Ascension. Keep in mind, this choice is permanent for this character. So if I choose Infernalist, I am going to be Infernalist on this character forever. You can hover over what each of these have, and try to figure out what all the skills do, and it will help you narrow down your choice, and help you decide on which one you want to pick. I would highly recommend doing a little bit of research onto whatever your class is in order to decide which Ascension you're going to choose. And in my case, I'm going to choose Blood Mage just because I already have an Infernalist Witch. And once I choose this Ascendancy, then I will be able to click Ascend. And now that I've ascended, I can go into my passives tree. And once I'm in my passives tree, I'll have this new area here where I can allocate points into whatever my Ascendancy is. You can only use your Ascendancy points here, and you'll get 2 Ascendancy points for each Ascension that you've done. And if you hover over your Ascendancy points, you'll be able to see the eligible trials here. I just showed you the first trial and first Ascension. For your second trial or second Ascension, you can either go into Act 3 in the Chimeral Wetlands, and if you fight the Chimera there, you'll get a quest item similar to the barya I used in this one, and you'll be able to infinitely try the Trial of Chaos for your second Ascendancy. Alternatively, if you find a djin barya that has 2 trials in it, which I believe you'll start finding around level 40 or so, then you can just do the Trial of Sekhemas again. And these items that you'll use for your next Ascendancies, aside from that one from the Chimera and Chimeral Wetlands, are just going to be random drops from mobs of appropriate level. So here's an example of a djin barya, and it says number of trials 2. It will also say completing this Ascension trial will grant additional Ascendancy points if it is eligible for your next Ascension. For your third one, you need to find a djin barya that says number of trials 3. I believe this starts dropping around level 60, might be 65. Or you can use inscribed ultimatum with number of trials 7, which also starts dropping around the same level. Then for your final Ascension, you can either use inscribed ultimatum at Temple of Chaos with number of trials 10, or you can use djin barya with number of trials 4, and these start dropping around monster level 75. And finally, once you complete the trial, you'll be able to talk to this Balbala the Advisor and potentially buy relics here, or you can go to this Keth Forge and it converts your leftover sacred water to keys. Then with all of your keys, you will be able to choose rewards here. And here I would mainly look for royal caches or time loss caches. The royal caches give a lot of gems, and those are hard to find normally. But really it depends on what you want. And the time loss caches give special jewels that are called time loss jewels. Other than that, it gives you an idea of what's in the cache based on what the name is. And that is everything.